I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. Hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'll give you the moon, all right?
Why they keep lying to us? We ain't never made it to the moon, and the world ain't running out of food. Y'all coming back soon, but why they keep lying to us?
Welcome to Real TV. I'm your host, Michael Israel. Welcome to today's show.
Ain't that great? Don't get me wrong.
On today's podcast,
The sun is the greatest light,
um,
and the moon is the second light.
hold on, let me cut the music.
Got a name.
Today's show is called The Lord Will Prevail. Today's show is called The Lord Will Prevail. We're going to do not on the mainstream news today, and then after that we're going to get into today's show. It is 4/4/2021, April 4th, 2021. I hope that all is well. It's 1:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA, wherever you are in the world. I do thank you for today's show. So, let's get back to the song, and we'll be back in just a moment. This is Heaven Gates. Michael Israel with Real TV.
What is it you want, Barry? What do you want? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. Hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'll give you the moon, all right?
Why they keep lying to us? We ain't never made it to the moon, and the world ain't running out of food. Y'all coming back soon, but why they keep lying to us? We ain't make it to the moon. The moon is just a plate. It's a little light. Ain't that great? Don't get me wrong. The sun is the greatest light, and the moon is the second light. And the moon got a name. It got 4 names. Asanja, Bernays. The other one is Abla. And the 4th is Iray. The moon got names. It's not named the moon. And the sun has a name. And it goes through the sky, through portals and under the sky. And it comes back round around the sky. But anyway, we got a story to tell. And what's yours? When you get to the heaven gates and they run your whole life tape, what you gonna do then? What you gonna do then? Being judged by aborted children. This world kinda crazy though. They trying to take our guns though. We just gotta keep living for y'all. And do right. And live right. Do more love. No more grudge. We got a story to tell. You got a story to tell. Make it to the heaven gates. They play your whole life tape. What you gonna do then? What you gonna do then? When you get to the heaven gates, you gonna be straight? You don't wanna go to hell. You don't wanna do that. We got a story to tell. What's yours? What's yours? Sleeping with the snakes? Throw your life away? That's not the right thing. Just do the right thing.
And we are back with another episode. So welcome in. And just like the song, they are trying to take our guns. The Great Reset is going to happen one way or another. Whether they do a lot of these controlled psyops and they have their Masonic elite, or they use MK Ultra mind control to have these people go and do these crazy events with all these shootings, whether there's a natural disaster, whether California officially breaks off, whether there's World War III, maybe the alien invasion, or maybe these aliens, these demons, finally reveal who they are. Whichever way you cut it, the Great Reset is coming. Not on the mainstream news is a lot that is actually on the mainstream news. So we're going to talk about this, talk a little bit about that. But in regards to the George Floyd case, not on the mainstream news. The only one they're talking about is Derek Chauvin. They're talking about the officer who held George Floyd down for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. 9/11. That's exactly September 11th. 9 minutes, 29 seconds. 2 plus 9, that's 11. That's 9/11. That's September 11th. This was a controlled psyop. But the narrative on the other end of the coin is trying to say that George Floyd had an overdose. They're trying to bring up his past of substance abuse because they have no facts. So the only fact that they do have that they can bring to the table is something on the past. Just goes in respect to say, and we'll get back to this, but DMX. They're trying to say that DMX had an overdose and that he's on life support, and or that he had a heart attack and that his lawyer had bad information, and or his attorney had bad information, and whatever. Regardless of the case, it's easier for the populace to go with the narrative that DMX had an overdose, because you see him a lot not sober. It's easy for the populace to go with the narrative that Cat Williams was locked up again for a fight, when that's what we've been shown by majority. It's easy for the populace to go with the narrative that Chris Brown could be arrested for hitting another woman or something like that, right? Because of the narrative. We have to realize and never forget that Hollywood has some of the greatest writers of all time. And their minions are in every avenue of every major newspaper, every major magazine, every major radio. They control the narrative. And the only answer to be true is the one that makes the most sense after research, after being in spirit, in line with the Heavenly Father, and through fasting and prayer. Because there's so many mix-ups. Like Dr. Sebi, for instance. You have a doctor that healed so many across the world. Reputable. And they say that he died of ammonia. He was killed. He was silenced. But the goal is to take the guns away. If you saw the movie The Great State, or if you saw the previews of The Great State that's on YouTube, the director of that movie is dead now. Because the truth is coming to light. But in this movie, they go door to door and they take guns away, essentially. And with this case of George Floyd, why are they just focusing on one officer when there were 4 other people that were involved with this? Yeah, one officer, Siobhan, yeah, he was on the neck of George Floyd, but what about the other 3 that was kneeling on his back, his legs? All of them held him down for the same amount of time. Why are they only showing us in film just that one officer? You know why all this Asian hate is going on right now? This quote unquote stop the Asian hate is because they're trying to mask the first officer that was standing on the curb, that Asian officer that was putting his hand up and telling people to stay back while George Floyd was being killed. That Asian officer that was standing on the curb is a part of the case too. But they're not talking about him. They're only talking about Derek. And they're not talking about the other 3 officers that were kneeling on George Floyd. So, what they have to do is to get your mind off of it. They have shootings at the salon in Atlanta. Or the spa. Right? So, let's go with not on the mainstream news here. Not on the mainstream news. 6 Asian men among 8 dead in Atlanta area spa shooting. Now, mind you, before we go on now, keep in mind, this is all in 1 month. This is all the month of March. Now, January is not the new year, but the month of March is, and they know it. So they're telling us how the year is going to pop off, literally. Because it was March 17th, according to CBS, 6 Asian women were among those who died in 3 separate shootings in Atlanta area spas. Police said the shootings may not be racially motivated, but the violence is alarming Asian American communities. Not on the mainstream news, elderly Asian woman attacked in San Francisco fights back, sends alleged attacker to hospital. Listen, they're trying to take the guns away. They want people to beg to have the guns taken away. Not on the mainstream news. 13 shot, 2 dead after shooting breaks out at Chicago party. This is all in the month of March. 2 people are dead and 13 others were shot at Chicago party, Southside. Unidentified suspect began shooting after a disturbance with other people at the party at about 4 a.m. Why are these people always unidentified for the most part? Okay, this is coming from CNN. This is how they title it. Why anti-Asian American violence is rising along with white supremacist propaganda. And what they talking about is the motivation of this killer who did the shooting in Atlanta. Listen, these shootings are going on and on and on. What else is there? Not on the mainstream news. Police releases names of victims in Wilmington mass shooting. 3 people have been killed and 4 others injured in mass shooting at a house party near 7th and Kidder Streets in Wilmington, North Carolina. All right, this is just recent. I don't know if you heard about that, but there's another shooting just recently in Wilmington, North Carolina. Let's see what else we got here. Not on the mainstream news. Multiple victims found at the scene of a deadly shooting in Orange County, California. Officers arrived as shots were being fired and located multiple victims at the scene, including fatalities. The location was at 202 West Lincoln Avenue, Orange County, at an office complex. Not on the mainstream news. Maryland man fatally shot before killing self. A man accused of shooting 3 people at a Maryland convenience store, killing 2 of them, also fatally shot his parents and set his apartment on fire before he shot and killed himself. Joshua Green, 27, was identified Sunday night as the suspect in a deadly shooting at a Royal Farm store in Essex, Baltimore County. The story goes on to say more, but that just goes to say there's more shootings. And then, wasn't there a shooting in Aurora, Colorado at the grocery store? At Super King or King Superstore, wherever that was. So, we're talking about less than a month. There's different shootings going on. So what's really going on? The Great Reset. There's a lot. There's a lot more. Not on the mainstream news. Have you heard about Real Water? There's a company called Real Water, and the water's not so real after all. In fact, though it's spelled real like REAL, it's like the periodic table of elements. They're letting you know that it's not even real water. It says RE and then squared 2. So it looks like a periodic table element. You have to see it. But Real Water. 5 kids are hospitalized with liver failure after drinking this real water. So they've taken it off the shelves, and if you have a case of it, if you have a couple of bottles of it, you may want to go ahead and throw that out. 5 children have been hospitalized with this. And there's a non-viral hepatitis or inflammation of the liver caused by this quote-unquote real water. I advise you to throw it out. Not on the mainstream news. Have you heard about your boy? They got Trump. He just launched his own social media platform. Yeah. Wow. Are we surprised? Not on the mainstream news. Amazon is reportedly telling drivers they must give biometric consent so the company can track them as a condition of the job. Amazon delivery drivers will lose their jobs if they don't give the company the permission. The form will allow Amazon to collect biometric data like facial recognition from the drivers. News surfaced last month that Amazon was planning to roll out AI-powered cameras in its vehicles. The whole morph the technology is there, is coming, and they probably upset that their workers are complaining about bathroom breaks. So, yeah, they're trying to get them off the job. And they're going to blame it on the new technology is better and that they have to compete with robots for their jobs. That's pretty much what's going on. So, with all these gun situations going on, Biden administration urges Supreme Court to let cops enter homes and seize guns without a warrant. The U.S. Supreme Court on Wednesday will hear oral argument in a case that could have sweeping consequences for policing, policying, due process, and mental health, with the Biden administration and Attorney General from 9 states urging the High Court to uphold warrantless gun confiscation. Part of my voice, y'all. This weather here in the South has just been crazy. Pardon me. Hey, honey, can you make us some tea, please? Some of that lemon tea. Thank you. With a little bit of that honey. Thank you. The weather last week was in the 80s. Nice, beautiful weather. Now, the past 2 days, the weather dipped down to the 30s. And then it's going to go back up to the 80s. So this quick change in weather just brought up a little bit of sinus. But that's okay. All will be well. Got some tea going. We're going to knock this out. And, okay, so they're trying to take the guns. I'm not going to read that too much because there's a lot that's going on in the news that's just out of this world. Not on the mainstream news. Have you heard about this? This happened in the Bronx. Gunmen opened fires on crowded playground in the Bronx. A mass shooter fired several rounds at a crowded playground in the Bronx. And it was caught on camera. Footage released by the NYPD shows 2 masked people on a scooter. They did a drive-by at Magenta Playground around 5:30 on March 12th. A person on the back of the scooter then pulled out a gun and fired several shots as people inside the playground ran for cover. Police are searching for 2 suspects seen on the scooter. All this stuff is planned by someone, yo. I mean, come on, man. Okay. Not on the mainstream news. They are gonna take your guns. Yo. Man arrested after allegedly entering an Atlanta Publix with 5 guns and body armor. A man was arrested after entering a Publix supermarket in Atlanta with 5 firearms and body armor, police said. He is 22 years old. Rico Marley has been charged with reckless conduct. NYC mayor promises to help Broadway reopen by September. It's almost time to raise the curtains again in New York City, says Mayor Bill de Blasio in a press conference Monday morning. De Blasio said that he expects Broadway and off-Broadway shows to reopen by September and that he plans to facilitate the target date. So it looks like New York is going to get back to normal pretty soon. so they say. Bill Gates predicts that the date the world will be completely back to normal, his date is, he says, the world will be completely back to normal from COVID-19 pandemic by the end of 2022. Let's see. They're the ones that are putting this stuff out there. Have you heard about this, man? These jobs are no good. Cold, dirty, mischievous. They're already not giving us our day's wages the day we get paid, but we got to wait 2 weeks. Scripture says give a man his wages that same day by a certain time, like by the evening, before the sunset. But we get out there so evil with it. We get our wages 2 weeks later. Some people get their wages the end of the week. Pretty much. All right, but check this out. This man quit his job in this company in Georgia, Crooked, Georgia, gave this man 90,000 pennies. They dumped it on his driveway, man. They gave him they gave this man his final check, his final paycheck in 90,000 pennies. Not only was it 90,000 pennies, but the pennies they put oil on the pennies. The man used to work at an auto repair shop, and his manager put the pennies in oil and then dumped the pennies in his driveway. $915 worth of pennies. To some, money is money. You got paid, right? How grimy is that? With all these shootings going on, have you heard about this? Not on the mainstream news. Ebola outbreak possible in Washington State and Oregon as 27 people who have recently traveled from West Africa. They're not talking about this on the news, are they? The things that make you go, We're going to get to it because there's some other crazy stuff in the news, but we're going to work our way up to that point. What else do we have? So, regardless if you're getting Pfizer, Moderna, or if you're getting Janssen, they don't even call it Johnson & Johnson no more. They call it Janssen. Like January and then Seen. Janseen. Janssen. Johnson & Johnson had a... Thanks. Hold on one sec. Let me open this jar of honey for the missus. Okay, there we go. Thanks, man. Johnson & Johnson had that settlement with the baby powder. They settled with people who bought baby powder that was causing cancer. They paid like over $1.6 billion. The same company just made a vaccine. All the vaccines that are going out are a mass experimentation on people. That's what it is. It's an experimentation. Whether you could call it what you want to call it. On the CDC website, it states that if you plan to get pregnant, they do not recommend you get the shot. Have you read that? Because it's there. If you plan on getting pregnant, the CDC and the World Health Organization recommend that you do not get the shot if you plan to get pregnant. They do not recommend the shot if you have certain allergies to the chemicals within it. It's on the website. The ingredients are there. If the shot was needed, they would make the shot mandatory. Am I right or am I wrong? If it was a world pandemic to that serious effect, and this was killing millions across the world, why isn't the shot mandatory? It's because they're prepping the world for the mandatory shot to come. the mark of the beast. The shot has nanoparticles that causes blood clots over time. I don't know if you know, but we'll get into it on another time. Not on the mainstream news, in Minnesota, 89 fully vaccinated people tested positive for COVID-19. So, whether you get the shot or not, you still got COVID-19, or you're still COVID-19 positive. So, darn if you do, darn if you don't, right? I say no. In an instance, if you're taking care of your health, if you're eating healthy, if you're exercising, if you're taking your vitamin C, if you're getting vitamin D from the sun, if you're drinking plenty of water, if you're staying away from junk food on a regular basis, and you're eating healthy on a regular basis, you're getting the nutrients that you need, I say everything will be okay. And the power of prayer is more powerful than any of those things anyways. But you got people bragging now. Let me get some of this. Got strawberries and mint in the tea. Babe, what kind is this? What flavor is this anyway? Got some lemon. I got lemon black tea with mint, strawberries, and local honey. Come on. Fresh mint. Dang, these strawberries hitting though. Got some organic strawberries. One of my favorite brands. If you ever get your hands on some, you better buy it. It's good. Driscoll strawberries. That could be a commercial. There's no punchline. Driscoll strawberries. Commercial is done. And this is not a paid promotion. No, they're really good. Got some of those. Dehydrated some. But they're really good. Really, really good. They got to be putting sugar in them or something. Or they're just organic. They're delicious. But you got people now bragging. They say, I don't need to wear a mask now. I got my shots. Or I got all of my shots. You're going to hear that a lot if you haven't heard it already. But people are testing positive for the COVID-19 vaccine. Let alone, I get this information about marathons and stuff. You know, I'm an avid runner. And to qualify for the Boston Marathon, for one, of course, you have to run at least 3 hours or less. I mean, you have to run at no more than 3 hours for the full marathon. So it has to be 3 hours and under. That's for the Boston Marathon, New York Marathon, all the major ones, Chicago. And they said in this article that for those who plan to qualify for the Boston Marathon, whether you have your shots or not, they require that you have 2 negative COVID-19 tests. So, why are people fighting to go get the shot? Waiting in line 4 to 6 hours to go get a shot. I'm not getting the shot. I'm allergic to the ingredients. And my wife and I, at some point, planned to get pregnant. So, that is our excuse. We know the ingredients, and we're allergic to what's inside of it. Not getting too much in detail in that. But you could do your own research to see if you have any of those allergies. But, you know, it's on the CDC website. They have strict recommendations and guidelines to those who are allergic to any of the ingredients and for those who are planning to get pregnant. So it is what it is. regardless of your shot, you still are going to have to show 2 negative tests. Not on the mainstream news. Have you heard about the time traveler that claims to have visited 2027? Well, if you get a chance to see his video, it's interesting. Is time travel possible? It definitely is. With the CERN project and with all the things that we know of and don't know, the known and unknowns, there's so much that we have no clue that is really the Twilight Zone. This time traveler visited 2027, and he said that the video is of human extinction with 1.3 million TikTok followers. Now, I can't say that I completely agree with everything they're saying, that the world is just extinct, but I could probably say that it was probably like the city from I Am Legend with Will Smith, and a lot of people weren't found, or was like Bird Box or something along the sort. But he claimed that time travel 6 years ahead, and this guy is in malls, he's in grocery stores, and he's walking the streets, he's on the beaches. Everything is there's no people. I mean, in the clothes or in the stores are perfectly perfect. It's weird, to say the least. It's weird. It's interesting. See it if you get a chance to. So, the Suez Canal got stuck again. The world was losing $400 million per hour. And toilet paper has gone up. Just got a couple rolls the other day. And the lowest rolls they had for 6 rolls was $14.99. Everything averaged out to about $20. They had $14.99, $18.99, $24.99. I mean, it's going to be higher than that. So I would advise you, as I have been, to continue to stock on the things that you'll need. Even if you have to get toilet paper, get it in bulk. You don't have to necessarily go to the store. You may have to get it online and just get a bulk order just to put to the side. MREs, bottles of water, vitamins, things of the sort. If you're trying to conceal to carry, the classic gun and ammunition for your safety. After you take some gun classes of how to shoot a gun and you get your permit, so be it. If you want the real deal, so be it. But if you're still wanting to be safe and to feel comfortable in your home, and you just want to scare the enemy, or you just want to give them a small tap. There's also BB guns, there's also air guns, there's paintball guns, there's guns with rubber pellets and rubber bullets that will work just the same if you aim for the face. Just the same if you get a good body shot. That's just me. But what you get is what you get. But the ship got stuck again, and products are going to be few and far between very soon. They're going to start this great reset. So yeah, it's coming. Did you see the video on TikTok about the guy in the mall who got rejected in front of everybody? It is what it is, though. I mean, it's a mixed couple, and it's a white guy and a black girl. Honestly, I'm thankful the girl didn't say yes. Not the fact that she shouldn't be married, but she should marry somebody of her own tribe, and he should marry somebody of his own tribe. It is what it is, but the scripture says that you should marry someone of your father's tribe. Okay? Pet food sold nationwide recall due to salmonella. They trying to get people in this craze. But I tell you this though, I don't know about you, but if I had a car, I would be there. Pizza Hut is opening drive-through windows at 1,500 locations. If that is not the most genius idea yet, Pizza Hut is having a drive-through now. Absolutely genius. Absolutely genius. Blockbuster need to get with the program and start a Netflix. The missus and I, we saw the Blockbuster episode or the Blockbuster show not the other day, not too long ago. They had the opportunity to buy Netflix, but they decided not to. I mean, there's only just one Blockbuster store in the world right now. Who knows if this is the end of them? Who knows what they're up to, what they have in the works? But I love it when companies rebrand themselves and stay innovative. Good job, Pizza Hut, on that drive-through. What else we got? So, not on the mainstream news, they got a new challenge now. You need to be wary if you have children, and if you're an adult and you're doing this, be wise and don't do this. But they have a new challenge called the Blackout Challenge, and this Colorado boy who's 12 years old is brain dead after trying it. Brother found him passed out on the floor in an attempt to use his shoelace. People choking themselves to the point of losing consciousness. Man, I mean, this world is crazy, man. Johnson & Johnson threw away over 15 million vaccines. So they say. This is what they told us now. I mean, I'm not putting it past them if they did throw them away, but who knows if they throwing them away for real, or if they're gonna give them to the tribes in West Africa, the people in Africa, the poor people. Who knows what they up to, man? But they threw away their vaccines and they're going back to the drawing board. Toilet paper price hike is coming. Kimberly-Clark Corporation, the company that produces Cottonelle, Scott, Viva, dang, they produce all that? Go ahead, Kimberly-Clark, whoever you is. All right, it's called the Kimberly-Clark Corporation. Who knew? This company produces Cottonelle, Scott, and Viva brands. Viva has some good paper towels, man. I like Viva. But they produce all this. They revealed yesterday that the price of toilet paper is going to be going up because of the cost of raw materials used in production has been increasing. Kimberly-Clark Corporation said it's raising prices on a majority of its North American consumer products business, which includes not just TP, but also Kleenex tissues, Kotex hygiene products, Huggy diapers, and other products. Ooh, diapers? Man, better go back to that cloth talk. Learn how to cut some fabric and use some safety clips. Dang. They're not telling us the price though, but it's going to be a hike. I say it's price gauging, really. Heads up, uh, Real ID kicks in 6 months from today. So heads up, travelers. The clock is ticking on a very important date on the U.S. travel calendar. Some say there's going to be a COVID passport, and then others don't know about this Real ID. So the Real ID, you want to go and get those IDs, because if you don't have it, you can't travel anyways. We got ours before the whole pandemic thing really kind of jumped off. And it is what it is, but you have to have the star on the ID. Georgia has been up to par with it anyways, and all the Real ID essentially is three forms of verification. You have to have your social security card. You have to bring your birth certificate and some form of a bill, like the electric bill or the water bill. So you have to bring three forms of identification, and after that, you get what you call a Real ID, which has a star. And if you don't have the star, you can't fly, you can't travel, right? And we know that the upside down star is similar to the Eastern Star, it's similar to the Baphomet. But it is what it is. There's a star, and there's stars all over the dollar bills. We hold it in our wallet every day. There's 666 barcodes on potato chips, bottles of water, things of the such. As long as we don't have the mark of the beast on our body, on our forehead, our arm or forehead, it's all good. These material things that we have to use as far as commerce, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So, the Real ID compliant driver's license have a star on the front of the card. Compliant IDs are intended to create a national standard and make sure every state has a more secure driver license. In 6 months, travelers who present a driver license that is not a Real ID compliant will not be permitted to fly. They'll have to bring another form of acceptable ID to the airport instead, or be turned away. Acceptable identification for domestic air travel will include passports, passport cards, enhanced driver's license, military IDs, trusted traveler's cards, such as global entry. Despite multiple alternative forms of acceptable ID, there will undoubtedly be some disruption at airport checkpoints when the October 1st deadline arrives. Only 42% of Americans hold passports, and traditionally, most U.S. residents have used their driver's license to pass through security for domestic air travel. We're not going to go too much more into statistics. In so many words, if you don't have your Real ID, you're not flying. Ever Given stuck again as estimates of shipping stall total 1 billion. My thing is it Ever Given or Evergreen? They call the ship the Ever Given, but on the ship is Evergreen. So which one is it? Is it the Ever Given or is it Evergreen? Because it's Evergreen on the ship. Why can't we just call it Evergreen? Where did they get Ever Given from? The Suez Canal Authority has forbidden the massive cargo ship, the Ever Given, from leaving the canal until investigators complete an inquiry on how the ship blocked the international shipping route for nearly a week. The authority said it will likely seek around $1 billion in physical and financial damages caused by the trade route's blockage, Egypt Sadr al-Balad news report, according to the USA Today. The dollar amount will cover the cost for the loss of transit fees. It's stuck again. That's all we need to know. And they losing money. and a lot of products are not going to be coming in. COVID vaccine passports are starting to roll out. Here's how they'll work. The Biden administration is reportedly developing a national coronavirus vaccine passport program, which would allow people to prove they've been vaccinated before entering some private venues that have been closed during the pandemic. My thing is, let's start right there. They've been letting people in to these private venues anyway before the vaccine. So why should a passport be relevant to get in anyways when they're letting us go right now? Why should it be relevant anyways when the workers are there and we're not required to get a vaccine shot? Why is it required anyways when the workers at a business can work and we're still in danger because the people that are coming in are not getting temperature checks. The people that are coming in are not coming in with a COVID-19 test. I mean, they're going to make this an issue far more worse than what it is. Because if it's just a piece of paper, if it's just a passport, there's so many digital scams where anybody can get a COVID-19 passport. Anybody can get a diploma. Anybody can get a degree. You got these celebrities who are getting fake degrees for their students, for their sons and daughters. They're paying the way for them to get into these Ivy League schools and to play on the teams and to graduate with honors. So what's to say that somebody can't have a replica COVID-19 passport when you got fake IDs? It is what it is. Let's read a few more, and then we out. There's an officer that got killed on the Capitol. So not only are these shootings going around in the different cities, but they reached the Capitol, and somebody got shot and killed. They got your boy Lil Nas X, and no, I didn't see the video. I will not see the video. Just knowing who he is, that's all that I need to know. But I did see a minor clip. I didn't watch the whole video. I saw a minor clip of Lil Nas X having Satan coming down from heaven on a stripper pole or something like that. But he dropped some shoes with a drop of blood. And the question is whose blood is it? They saying that the blood is coming from the designers who made the shoe themselves. It's more than the shoe, and it's more than Lil Nas X. Let's bring up Erykah Badu with her vagina candle. Let's bring up Lady Gaga with her perfume that has blood and semen. Everybody's focusing on Lil Nas X. But let's focus on all the evil. Let's focus on everything that's bad and bring it up and stop narrowing it down to just one person. When Hollywood, Nike, Reebok, McDonald's, all these people are in cahoots with all their different things. Listen, I'm going to take a break real quick, and I'm going to tell you why the Lord will prevail. We're an hour in on just not on the mainstream news. And I want to round it up and wrap it up with the show and tell you what's been going on in regards to the new place, the lawyer, and how the Lord will work everything out. Even when you don't know the way, the Lord will show you the way, and He will bring people into your life to help you. This is Real TV, and this is Goals. I'll be back in just a moment. One. You say if it comes from the heart, then it's heartfelt. So I want this to come from the heart. So here it goes. It's about 1:45. I'm chilling at the crib. I got a lot of goals. I want to marry my rib, but I got a bit of crib.
I gotta get land. It's a lot of gays. It's a lot of trends. Supply and demand. She know I'm the man. She know I'm the man. Even though I peacock just like a bird and my feathers be out like a fan. I'm black and I be out in the sun. I mean, even though I'm black and when I'm out in the sun, when I go home, it's funny cause I'm tan. I got a lot of goals. I wanna go to the beach and bury my feet. I gotta keep it real for y'all. I run real TV, so I mean I gotta keep it 100 with y'all. So you know me, and so I gotta teach. And it's funny how when I keep it real with y'all, some people say that I can preach, but it's a lot going on. It's a war going on. What you gonna do when the banks close? You don't know? I don't put money in the bank. I put the money on the bookshelf. But I ain't gonna say much though. I don't need to say much though. It's a lot going on though. But I still got goals though. You know? I still pray. I still pray. Like every day. I don't go to the club though. And this is Saturday though. I mean right now it's Friday. And I'm chilling at my place. I don't go to the club. But I got a lot of goals. I got a lot of goals. I need to go to the store. I need to work out. And I want to eat salads. And I want to write ballads. I got talent. At least I think so. Well, at least I know so. When it comes to the truth, I don't even need a boo. I got a lot of goals. I want to have children. But this world's so crazy. So I don't know about children. But if it comes, I don't know what to say though. But I got a lot of goals though. I gotta get to heaven though. We gotta get to heaven though. I got a lot of goals though. So I hope you got goals too. Okay, and we're back. This is your brother with the butter, Michael Israel, on Real TV. And today's show is called The Lord Will Prevail. The Lord will prevail. And Yahweh be the glory forever and always. Hallelujah and amen. So, in paraphrase of what's been going on, my neighbor bought the apartment unit that my wife and I stay in our condo that we just signed a lease for in January. Okay. If you've listened to the last episode, you know what's going on. So, landlord bought the place. They didn't tell us about anything. We found out through the broker. And we found out through the broker also that they're going to give us 60 days to vacate our unit. Okay. We signed our lease in January for a full year from April 1st, 2020 from April 1st, 2021 through all the way through 2022. It's already signed by all parties, right? And our neighbors gave us an invite to their house. Never speak to us ever. Congratulated us on our wedding and all, and never speak to us. It's cool, not so, you know. But you can just tell their energy is just off. It's not just that they don't speak to us. It's like they have this hate towards us. So they gave us an invite to their crib, and in so many words, the guy was like, you know, he has no intentions of paying us. They paid
a lot of money for this place and that they have no intentions of paying us. And I was telling the guy, on the first page of our lease, the very first page, it does mention in the lease that if the landlord decides to sell the property, that they have a early, that they do have their right to exercise their 60-day notice to give the tenant. Okay, cool. It also states that there's an early termination fee to the tenant if the landlord sells the property and breaks the lease. So our current landlord, because they haven't closed the sale yet, they're supposed to close the sale on April 23rd. Our current landlord, once the sale closes, the lease will go over to our next door neighbor. And our next door neighbor called us over to see when we were going to get out of the condo, because they have the biggest 2-bed condo in the building, and they only have 1 bathroom, and they want our place so they can get an extra bathroom, right? So it's cool. It is what it is. But so I told my neighbor when we were there, I have the lease. I could go get it real quick. I'm right next door. He was like, no, that's okay. And then he was like, I have no intentions of like paying you guys, And I was like, but sir, it is on the lease. It's on the first page of the lease, And then my wife chimed in really quick. If we as the tenants, if we broke our lease, we'll have to pay you guys. So it's only fair that. So I didn't want to keep going back and forth because this guy wasn't trying to hear it for nothing. So while there, I said, I've heard on the movies. I'll just talk to my lawyer. You'll hear from my lawyer. You know what I'm saying? So I've never called a lawyer before. I've never reached out on something like this, Just never did it. And the first time ever I did, the lawyer is he wrote up a letter. Now I told him you'll hear about my lawyer on Monday. I had spoke to them on like a Thursday or Friday, right? I ended up calling this lawyer. Well, for one, I ended up doing a couple of things. So you never know who you dealing with, because my grandma works for the housing authority. Well, she did. She retired, and she know a lot of people. Unfortunately, she was in the Order Eastern Star also, but that don't make it right. I love Graham, and I'm not getting into that. I love Graham besides what she was in or whatever. Anyways, everybody's family is dipping their toes into something they ain't supposed to be in anyway. We got an uncle that's drunk, an uncle that stay high. Somebody's into something, all right? And I'm not judging nobody. But anyways, my grandma know people, and you probably got people who know people too. All right, so anyways, I ended up calling this quote-unquote black guy that's supposed to be dealing with things in the apartments and housing authority and leases and stuff. Hit him up, no response. I called up this other guy. He took the case immediately, and he wrote up a letter, complimentary, free of charge, and sent it out to our neighbors on our behalf. After with my permission and everything. And the date that I told the lawyers the date I told my neighbor you'll hear from my lawyer was the date he heard from my lawyer. I said a Monday, and on the Monday he heard from my lawyer. And I didn't even tell the lawyer a date. Hey, can you send this to my neighbor by this date? I just let him do his thing. The Lord used him on our behalf because they're in the wrong. The Lord jumped on this case. If it wasn't a case, he wouldn't have jumped on it. they're going to have to pay us. And the sad part about it is I brought up pay about 5 different times between the broker and the neighbor, asking them what's the early termination fee, asking them how much are they going to pay us. They never wanted to talk about that. They just skipped past that question. A non-response is a response. They just skip past that. I had to get a lawyer to get them to talk, which is just a pity. So now we're going to see what's what, but they're going to have to pay us out. And at minimum, I want the money that we would have to pay them if we were to break the lease. So we got 12 months because officially the lease just started. It's still in April. So the lease just started this month. So I want 12 months of pay. Or if they close on a deal this month, and since we lived here, or if we'll be living here, because I still want us to do our 60 days, whether how much we get paid or not. Because we got it pretty sweet, I must say. We don't have cable, but cable's included, Wi-Fi's included, water's included, all with the rent, trash, sewage, phone, all that stuff is included. It's really a blessing. So we really are pampered. And to leave what we have now, to go to somewhere else, we're gonna have to pay. You know, we may most likely gonna have to pay all those other things, which is fine. But you know, we've been accustomed to a certain lifestyle and, you know, planned, you know, certain things with a certain budget since we have it this way. But you know, it is what it is. So I just wanted to let you know that whatever situation that you're in, whatever you're worried about, just let the Lord do what he do. Keep the faith, pray, have faith, be honest with the Lord about what you want, ask him for what you want, and he will provide. It says you have not because you ask not. You have not because you ask not. And the Lord will prepare a table before your enemy. Let's read that, because you may need to hear that. The Lord will prepare a table before your enemy. Psalm chapter 23, verse 5. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. No punchline. That's what the Lord does for you. He will prepare a table before you. It's unfortunate because we want to love our neighbor. Before we even went to their place, we knelt down. My wife covered her head. I had her hold on to me, and I put my hand on their door. And we kneeled down outside of their door without them knowing. And we touched their door. And we blessed them. And we prayed for them. And we asked the Lord to touch their heart and to guide them. And to give us the words to say. I had no idea what I was going to say as a man, as the husband. But the Lord gave me the words in that same hour. And that's in Scripture. And the Lord is going to have them pay us. And we're going to be blessed. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 1. Does any one of you who has a case against his neighbor dare to go to law before the unrighteous and not before the saints? Does any one of you, when he has a case against his neighbor, dare to go to law before the unrighteous and not before the saints? Or do you not know that the saints will judge the world? If the world is judged by you, are you not competent to constitute the smallest law courts? This is in Scripture. Unfortunately, we have a case against our neighbor, and it's unfortunate that our neighbor does not know that the saints will judge the world. Scripture says, love thy neighbor. And that's what we want to do. That's all we want to do. We don't want no animosity. All our neighbor had to do was give us a Starbucks gift card or something. You know what I mean? Be like, you know, talk to us. Hey, guys, you know, we just wanted to let you know that we're interested in buying a place or something, and it would you all be okay with us buying a place next year or this year, whatever it may be? Just talk to us. You know what I mean? Did you all sign a lease on your place, or how long is your lease? Because we're interested in buying the place, and we know that y'all just got married in the hallway, and we just want to be courteous of y'all, but we need extra space for such and such. Just talk to us, whatever the reason may be, and we could work with that. But just to find out from someone else and not talk to us, and you live right next door to us, shows the hate that's in it. Shows the snake who you are, the true snake that you really are, yo. We in a world full of snakes and wolves, and these people know that we know who they are. That's why they can't stand us. They know that we know who they are, and they cannot stand us. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, we'll all be responsible for all the deeds that we've done in this world, good or bad. And it's important for us to love one another and to do right by one another, regardless of who we are, race or color or creed, whatever. We are supposed to love one another. And the first law, the greatest commandment, the greatest thing that we could do is to love the Lord with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our soul, with all our strength, with everything that is in us. That is the first and greatest. And if we could do that as a whole, we'll automatically love one another. It's not that we have a problem with snakes and wolves. We know who you are. It's the fact that the snakes and wolves don't want to be godly. They don't want to be holy. Some of them are decent. Some of them try. Some of them really do try. And those are the ones that we appreciate. But it's when you're so callous, when you just can't help that forked tongue. You need to clip that forked tongue and get with the program, yo. I can't say it enough. You have to be tired of your eyes morphing like that. You have to be tired of your teeth morphing like that. You have to be tired of pretending to be human and knowing you're not. You don't get tired of smelling like fish when you eat meat? I mean, the list goes on, man. But regardless, I ain't trying to dog y'all for those who are snakes. Just be holy, man. Just be holy. Because remember, the saints will judge the world. We, people in this world, who are trying the best to our ability to live righteously for the Most High and for our own soul's sake. When we get to heaven and we make it in, we will be judging you. We will look at the list of deeds in your life that you had against us, and we're going to decide whether we should let you in or not. So continue to do good by us, and your reward will be great in the end. I want to say this real quick, because in this song, Heaven Gates, I tell you that they're going to try to take our guns, which we already discussed. The Great Reset is coming. But in the song Heaven Gates, I also tell you that the sun has names and the moon has names. And you can find this in the book of Enoch in chapter 78, if you ever get a chance to go to it. Enoch walked with the Lord. He was taken up. He didn't see death. They plucked this book out of the Bible. And the book is so dramatic, it's so heartfelt, it's so life-changing that they had to take it out, or it would change the world. And when people hear this information, they will be saved and they will turn away from sin, one after another. But I want to share this with you. So maybe you could vibe a little bit more when you hear the song. But in the book of Enoch, chapter 78, verse 2, we're not going to read all of it, but I'm going to read a few verses here. Starting at verse 2, chapter 78. And the names of the sun are the following. The first, or Jares. The second, Thomas. I want to stop right there. If the Lord has a name for the sun, how big are our problems? Let's go on. And the moon has 4 names. The first name is Asanja. The second, Abla. The third, Benes. And the fourth, Ere. There are 2 great luminaries, and their circumference is like the circumference of the heaven. And the size of the circumference of both is alike. But why did they tell us that the moon is small and that the sun is the biggest star in our solar system? You know why they told us that? Because the devil is a liar. Satan deceiveth the whole world. The Lord will prevail. All our lives, we've been taught that the moon and the sun are not the same size. Am I right or am I wrong? That the moon is like a golf ball and the sun is like a volleyball. Am I right or am I wrong? We've been told that the earth evolves around the sun. When we see it every day with our own 2 eyes, that the sun is within our earth. We see it with our own eyes, the sun and the earth in the same space. You ever went out in the daytime and saw the moon and saw the sun at the same time? You ever went outside and you felt the sun? You're like, dang, it's hot. I felt like the sun is beaming on me. It is beaming on you. It's not 3 million miles away. It's not 6 million miles away. The sun is like a couple 100 miles away. The sun is right there. You ever felt sometimes where it feel like if you had enough strength in your arm, you could throw a football at the sun and probably touch it? Listen. Because the Lord will prevail. The truth will come to light. And this is the truth about the light. The circumference, now hold on, let's read this again. The size and the circumference of both is alike. What are we talking about? The sun and the moon is alike. In the circumference of the sun, there are 7 portions of light which are added to it, more than the moon. Is or is not the sun 7 times brighter than the moon? We're going to stop right there. We have to love one another. And at the end of the day, we got to get to heaven. At the end of the day. So let's continue to do right. And remember, regardless of your circumstances, pray. 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 And the Lord will work it out. The Lord will prevail. And the Lord will show you his majesty. You praise the Lord. And you give him glory for all the days of your life. This is Heaven Gates, Real TV. Stay tuned for the next.
What is it you want, Barry? What do you want? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. Hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'll give you the moon, Barry.
Why they keep lying to us? We ain't never made it to the moon, and the world ain't running out of food. Y'all coming back soon. But why they keep lying to us? We ain't make it to the moon. The moon is just a plate. It's a little light. Ain't that great? Don't get me wrong. The sun is the greatest light. And the moon is the second light. And the moon got a name. It got 4 names. Asanja, Bernays. The other one is Abla. And the 4th is Iray. The moon got names. It's not named the moon. And the sun has a name. And it goes through the sky, through portals and under the sky. And it comes back round around the sky. But anyway, we got a story to tell. And what's yours? When you get to the heaven gates and they run your whole life tape, what you gonna do then? What you gonna do then? Being judged by aborted children. This world kinda crazy though. They trying to take our guns though. We just gotta keep living for y'all. And do right. And live right. Do more love. No more grudge. We got a story to tell. You got a story to tell. Make it to the heaven gates. They play your whole life tape. What you gonna do then? What you gonna do then? When you get to the heaven gates, you gonna be straight? You don't wanna go to hell. You don't wanna do that. We got a story to tell. What's yours? What's yours? Sleeping with the snakes? Throw your life away? That's not the right thing. Just do the right thing.